Hello Garden Universe, Jane here. I'm going to take you for a quick wander in my wild garden. I'll start with the blossom pumpkin, the pumpkin that was started from a seed that Mark Clements gave me. It's finally started to grow. The blossom pumpkin is finally starting to grow. It's getting some really large leaves finally, and I just left it alone. I haven't really fussed with it. I keep it watered, I keep it fertilized, and it was going straight up, and then instead of trimming any leaves, I just left it alone, and it finally just settled down. So that's exciting. It's surrounded by roses. That's Commandant Beaurepaire, and the rambler up there is Paul Ricault. I'll take you on a little walk through the wild garden. We've been working on it, cleaning it up. It's hard to get there, so we kind of have to scoogie around the Mozart rose. Underneath the king apple. Oh, it's got fruit. I have to duck. There's a Barnsley mallow planted back here. It's finally starting to grow. And the Rose Maiden statue is out here. So we go behind the rose statue. This is lovage or lavage. I call it lovage. It's huge. It's been out here for years. I just kind of chop it down when it gets too big, like I did recently, and I use it to just mulch around other plants. So here's a clematis going up. Oh goodness, it looks like it's starting to bloom. It's out here and has to fight for a living with everything else. Then there's a butterfly bush out here, and there's a Iranian wild rose. I believe it's called Ishpehan. I put a cutting out here a long time ago. Mock orange. Smells so delicious. So we put up this chicken wire fence because the deer were just ravaging it back here. This used to just be an open area where my children played. Now we're just trying to keep it alive. Okay, so let's go back and find the trail. We are now behind the hoop house, underneath the dead polygonum vine and the hemlock. I've been trying to keep a path cleared back here so I can walk without tripping. Very hard to do. Okay, so we're behind the Ishpehan rose and the mock orange thicket, and this is where the fence ends. It's falling down. It's very old now. I put this fence up in 1988 all by myself, and it's in disrepair, but the chicken wire keeps the deer out, sort of. So this is a plum. This plum is a volunteer. It gets loaded with fruit. So does the other big one. They're good to eat. They're just a small plum. Okay, behind the hemlock tree, following the path in the wild garden. This is some kind of willow I planted a very, very long time ago, and I don't remember the name. I just remember the description said it was useful for weaving baskets, and I've never woven a basket in my life. But here's the willow. Okay, so behind the willow, the hemlock, not the willow, the hemlock, there's another wild rose, and it's always getting overrun by wild blackberries. The branches of the hemlock are coming down. More wild roses. These are Nootka roses that I planted and have spread. This is a Japanese multiflora rose. It's getting ready to bloom. It's huge, huge, huge old rose. And it'll be covered with these little white blooms that smell of honey. Very sweet. So come back. The ground cover is called false nettle. I don't remember the real name of it. My husband hates it. He's always wanting to dig it up. So the wild rose thicket has spread all over back here. Now we're at my back fence line. There's a laburnum tree I planted. The original came from my mom and dad's farm, homestead, where I grew up. So I'm glad it's alive. The pathway winds around the wild rose thicket and comes out here on our back boundary. And here we are. This is the deer fence between the wild garden and my new artichoke garden. So we have over to the right is my hoop house and the raspberry patch, the new artichoke bed, and that's the potager garden way over there beyond the apple tree. This area right here that's behind the artichoke bed and the raspberries is really overgrown with roses and locust tree, saplings, lots and lots of ramblers that have just got overgrown with blackberries. Old burn barrel back here that we haven't used in years. Here's oh, I think this is lemon balm. Yep, it's lemon balm, and it just is a volunteer back here. I want to plant a fruit tree out here. This is kind of a food forest. Well, not really. It didn't start out. That's a trendy name for the kind of gardening I do and have done for years. But I want to plant a fruit tree back here. Chop all this down, all this undergrowth down. Take out all the locust trees and take out some of the wild roses and give this a little bit of room for maybe a dwarf cherry, maybe a dwarf Asian pear. Okay, find my way back down the trail through the wild garden. Ooh. Oh, these are wild geraniums. They seeded themselves all over the place. I like those. They don't hurt anything. Back to the plum tree and the deer fence and the Ispahan rose and under the hemlock tree and around the hemlock tree and under the rose arbor. Try not to snag my hair. And there's the rose maiden statue. Oh, I love this rose. This is Paul Ricault. Oh my goodness. This is a true European cabbage rose. Intensely fragrant. Love, love, love. Well, it's June and it is the season of the rose. Ah, so fragrant in my garden. And I love roses, and even though I'm allergic and will start sneezing in a little bit, I love them. Well, it's June and there's so much blooming in the garden right now, so much going on that it's hard to know where to start. But thank you for going on the journey with me. This was just to show you what's going on. I'm going to start concentrating on the food forest part in the wild garden, and we'll see where that takes me. So bye until next time. Please like if you enjoyed my video and subscribe if you'd like to see more.